his pants. Put up your pants, my man.
Touchdown!
Is this the time?
And Fernando Tatis Jr., a grand slam! I want Iguodala.
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like,
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Welcome to From the Backseat, hosted by Clark and Ethan.
it's funny.
What is going on, folks? You are tuning into From the Backseat. It is Tuesday, January 24th. A great weekend of football for people named Clark Varenthal and Cincinnati Bengals fans around the country. What a weekend. Couldn't have asked for anything better. As always, I'm joined by my co-host.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan.
There you go. There's your see, we've switched roles. Now you've forgotten that you actually have to introduce yourself.
I know. Usually I'm the one doing all the.
Usually you're on the other end of this, but we've decided the last two, just kind of shake it up a little bit here.
Yeah,
so,
Clark's Mr. Professional now. Clark,
I am Mr. Professional. You notice how I say the date? You never said the date before. In case
I never said
like,
the date. I didn't think it was necessary to say the date.
Well, because people
usually
want to know.
It's pretty easy to figure out what date it is because we're usually talking about like week 18 of the NFL.
Okay,
season,
but it's Tuesday. People could be like, "Whoa, are they talking about this on Monday? Is this a Wednesday?" But no, we clarified by saying the date. You clarify which day this has been filmed on. That is a huge aspect of this that you're underrating.
I mean, it's a good point because if it was a Monday, it would be Overreaction Monday. So we might.
So maybe what would be Tuesday? Tuesday is just
Tranquility Tuesday.
I don't know. It's just Tuesday. It's Tuesday, January 24th, because everyone knows that now because I just said it.
Hey, it's a Victory Tuesday for Clark today, so that's a big
Victory Tuesday. Should we start there? Should we start with Clark's Victory Tuesday? I just hate that I just
so it's funny. I know you're gonna want to talk about the Bengals, which to tell you the truth, the Bengals played a fantastic game.
We won't stick on it too long because there's not a lot to cover on it. I feel like everyone should really kind of know how it went.
All the interesting storylines are about Buffalo just falling flat on their face, but.
So I guess like we'll kind of because that's going to kind of figure into what we're going to go with. But for Buffalo, I think anyone who watched that game, there's no way going into it you didn't see that was a game primed, almost begging to be won by the Buffalo Bills. You had DeMar Hamlin back in the house, which was great to see. You had it snowing in their home field. I mean, this was a game that Vegas gave them a 6-point favorite in. And they scored 10 points. They get blasted 27-10. This was a game, and I know I'm a Bengals fan, that felt over after that first drive. The air went out of that place when Burrow and the Bengals not only just went down the field in 7 plays, but did whatever they wanted to on that first drive, rolled it into the second drive. I've seen the Bengals play a lot of really good games the last 2 years with Burrow. That, to me, was probably one of the most complete and dominating performances I've seen. And for it to come in the playoffs like that was really shocking. And I think for Buffalo, in some ways, on the other side, it's a game that makes you sit there and say, man, do we have to reassess what we're doing here? Are there changes that need to be made? Again, I'm with you, Ethan. I think for Buffalo, this is about as bad of a game as you could possibly ask for.
Yeah, so a lot of people are taking out of this as they're really pounding on the Bills, and obviously that's the right way to take it. But to tell you the truth, again, the Chargers' loss is really embarrassing. I'm not going to take away blowing 27 points, but I almost think this is worse because this was the Bills. The reason I say that is because this was the Bills' championship window. Everything falls apart after this year. They're in cap hell. Josh Allen's contract goes up 150% against the cap. They're not going to be able to afford a lot of these players that are going to leave. I don't really know where they go from here. And one thing that I really want to point out about Josh Allen, and I guess maybe this was an Overreaction Monday take into today, is I've decided Josh Allen is the anti-Herbert.
Why is he the anti-Herbert? How do you say that? Explain.
I think they are opposite players. Justin Herbert. So they both have extreme arm talent. That's to be seen. They're both big-bodied guys. They're almost the same frame. Josh Allen's a little bit bigger than Herbert, but there's one key difference between them. Josh Allen throws it down the field too much, and Justin Herbert never throws it down the field. Justin Herbert is so scared of turning the ball over. He will check it down almost every single play. Josh Allen will be aggressive on 3 downs in a row. especially like when you watched in the Miami game. I don't remember what drive it was in the fourth quarter, but he threw like 4 verticals on 3 plays in a row, and they went 3 and out. So as I was watching this Bengals game, I started to put it together of like, man, this is the anti-Herbert. Herbert is scared of contact. Josh Allen will initiate it no matter what. Justin Herbert has elite pocket presence. Josh Allen, if it's not just run straight, he has no idea where a pass rusher is. So
I mean, I think it's no, it's fair. I think everything you brought up was fair. I think like your example of Josh Allen just constantly throwing the football down the field. There were multiple times in that Bengals game where it was 3rd and 3, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. And rather than just take what the defense was clearly going to give him over the middle of the field, he attempted to go for vertical shots. And I would get that if your plan was to go for it on 4th down, but there was never any situation where he threw those balls and they stayed out there on 4th down. They punted. So I agree in that standpoint. And yeah, I think Allen, I mean, I know the Bills don't have the greatest offensive line, but it seemed like Cincinnati got in that backfield a lot, and then he just panicked. Like there wasn't any ability to necessarily go off script. And I don't know if that's because of the defense way we're being played with Cincinnati, but Allen struggled in just about the worst ways at the worst possible time for the Bills. So I get what you're saying. He's the anti-Herbert because I agree. I think there's a lot of times when we watch Justin Herbert where it looks like the kid wants to just rear up and throw it down the field, and he just takes the check down, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But as I've said before, I wish he had a little bit more of that gunslinger in him. But when you watch guys like Allen, you kind of get the little bit of conservative play at times because I don't think Allen lost them the football game necessarily. No. I don't think it was all on him. However, for someone who is constantly, and this bothered me during the game, of being called an alien, if you're going to be called an alien at quarterback, you got to score more than 10 points in your home field in the perfect conditions being presented to you. So for Allen, just not a great showing. And again, we discussed this in our group chat, but that game to me put Mahomes 1, Burrow 2. He jumped Allen in my opinion in that game.
For sure. No, I totally agree. And we'll come back to that point, but I want to make one more thing about the Bills before we move on from Josh Allen. I keep seeing everyone saying the reason the Bills struggled is they don't have enough weapons on offense. That is such a joke argument.
Please. That was never brought up once all in the regular season. It never was. You can't just bring it up now.
It's such a joke argument. Are you kidding me? They have Stephon Diggs, who's a top 5 wide receiver. Gabriel Davis, who for a wide receiver 2 is, I don't know, top 15, I guess, a wide receiver. Probably top 10 wide receiver 2.
I mean, this is a guy that last season, everyone was like, oh, it's playoff Gabe Davis. He had 4 touchdowns last year in a playoff game, which he did. And you can't tell me Dawson Knox isn't one of the best tight ends in the NFL. He's great. I mean, his hands are occasionally unreliable, but he's still very good.
And Isaiah McKenzie, for a slot player, is totally fine. He's serviceable to play the slot. The issue is Josh Allen just doesn't throw those plays.
No.
He doesn't have the patience to throw those slants in the middle of the field or those quick whip routes to pick up 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, too, is that people complained about in this game, too, like, oh, the Bills' running game wasn't there. Folks, the Bills' running game wasn't there all season. It was just Josh Allen. He was a leading rusher for this team. It wasn't Singletary or Cook. It was your quarterback. The Bills didn't have a running game all season. But again, I think for so many people among the national media that I'm more speaking about, just blind-eyed that because of what it was in front of him, which is Josh Allen just doing a bunch of crazy things sometimes. But
oh my God. I just thought of another argument for the anti-Herbert thing. Josh Allen will get every excuse in the book. Justin Herbert gets every critique in the book.
I mean, I think I said that in our podcast leading up to this game, is that apparently to a lot of people in the media, it sounds like I'm just calling out like I'm some sort of fool, like, oh, the media is against it. That's not what I'm saying. But it felt a lot of people on NFL Network, ESPN, Fox, like if they asked about Josh Allen, the interceptions of which he'd thrown, which I believe were maybe the most in the NFL, just didn't count. I'm like, how can you criticize one player for a high turnover rate like Dak, but you can't come around and do the same thing for Josh Allen? You have to keep the same energy for both people. And it just seemed like Allen continuously got this pass. And it's crazy to me.
Well, what's crazy to me is he had 6 turnovers in the red zone this season. That's
it's a lot.
insane turnover ratio when you're in the red zone.
It's not good.
They just like let it go. They're just like, oh, whatever. They were up by a touchdown.
It
Who
was
cares?
just a laissez-faire attitude when they're down there in the red zone. And again, like, I think for so many other quarterbacks, if that was Mahomes, Mahomes did get criticized for red zone turnovers. If it was Herbert, if it was Hurts, if it was Jackson, if it was Burrow, if they had that same issue, it would have been brought forth. But however, because it was Josh Allen, and I feel like so many people wanted to crown this guy as the next coming to Patrick Mahomes, his true rival, that they just ignored it. Yeah. Maybe that's just me, but I just feel like maybe that's the reason he got the excuses, because everyone was so eager to make him Mahomes is like the Brady to Manning equivalent. It was going to be Allen and Mahomes.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of invested themselves in Josh Allen because he wasn't very good. He wasn't very good his first 2 years in the league, and his improvement you could watch and see every single year.
Yes.
And this is the first year we really didn't see improvement. In fact, we saw regression.
He regressed
from where he was. So I just think a lot of people are invested in seeing him succeed because you'd put so much effort into it. He's going into now his 6th year into the league. He's on his new contract, averaging $45 million a year. So you expected him. This was the year that the Bills are legit. And again,
it fell short.
Fell short.
And like that's one thing too, I think with Buffalo is it. I don't know. I think it's just so much worse too, because this was at home. Again, it felt like going in. If you were to write a storybook for a game for the Buffalo Bills to win, it would have been this game. This was quintessential Orchard Park every way you want it. And they got the freaking brakes beaten off of, man. Absolutely in shambles after that. I mean, Buffalo is still going to be a good team. Do not get me wrong. However, I just won't accept them being just unanimously called the second best team in the AFC. That's no longer a question in my mind.
To tell you the truth, and this, I've already been thinking about this hot take already, and maybe this is way overreaction.
This could be with you.
I don't think they're going to be favored in their division next year.
Really? Oh, come on. Well, it depends on what Miami does. That's
what I'm thinking. So if Miami figures out the quarterback position, I'm already ready to say I think Mike Daniel might be the best coach in that division.
I would agree. Okay, I like McDermott, but I think there is credence to this idea that he, as a defensive coach, he's falling behind the other guys in the division. I think if I was hiring a lot of guys, if I was an owner hiring a team or hiring a coach, I would always look offensive minded first. There's a reason all the coaches left right now in the playoffs are offensive minded.
Yeah, but the thing that I think is unfair about that argument is there's way less defensive-minded coaches in the league right now.
I suppose, but it just...
there's only like 6 or something.
There's going to be 7 or 8 because D'Amico Ryan should certainly get a job, which I'm not saying don't hire defensive coaches, but there is maybe some sort of telling truth here that the remaining 4 coaches are former offensive-minded or offensive coordinated coaches.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe reading into it too much, but...
I think more of the, well, you're not going to like this, but I think it's more of the elite quarterback play, besides for one person, and that's the elite coaching.
Well, yeah, I think Shanahan's obviously the exception. I think all the coaches that are left are really good. I think all the...
Yeah. The one I'm still not entirely sold on, I think Zach Taylor's a good coach. I'm not trying to say he's not, but man, his coordinators are so good.
Well, he still calls the offensive plays.
I know. And I'm not trying to discredit him.
Great. I don't know. I think you're right. Yeah. I love Zach Taylor, but his coordinators are great. Lou Anarumo, I would say right now, maybe this is just me, is the best defensive coordinator in football. I think there's a real argument for that.
Another person who I don't understand is, and this kind of leads to a take I want to do later, and we'll wait on it for a little bit. Is the Chiefs defense somehow every December and into January, they stink all season?
Oh, I thought they played well. I thought they played well.
That's what I'm saying, is they stink all season, and then it gets into December and January, and then they turn into like an elite unit.
Well, because what I think it is it's the stupidest cliche, but in the playoffs, you got to get after the quarterback. That's maybe the one straight Kansas City's defensive unit has. They have, in my opinion, the best interior pass rusher in the NFL, and Chris Jones. It's between him and Dexter Lawrence. And then when you have that, Karlaftis came on.
Wait, what about Aaron Donald?
He's hurt. He's going to retire. He's done at this point.
No, he said he's coming back.
Okay, well, if he's coming back, then Aaron Donald is. But until I'm saying like this season, you would say that Chris Jones was the best.
Yeah,
unless you want to say Dexter Lawrence. Those are the two. I mean,
I think Chris Jones is really good.
Yeah, I think Chris Jones is great. I mean, so I would say that's maybe why it happens is that they just dial up the pass rush more. Although I don't know if they're going to be able to do that as often next week because Spagnuolo loves to blitz. That means playing man coverage. Playing man coverage against the Bengals has been notorious to not go very well. But whatever. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the NFC side? Or I mean, I guess.
Well, let's return back. Well, let's return back to this quarterback conversation I put us on pause on.
Oh,
so
Lord.
Clark was talking about earlier is we were talking about it really feels like now number one is Mahomes. And I don't know if you feel this way, but I don't want to discredit Burrow because Burrow's really good. But to me, there's a big gap between Mahomes and Burrow.
I
think it's a 1, and then he's by far the best. And then I think Burrow is number 2. But I just think Mahomes is.
So I think Mahomes is unquestionably number 1. That's no doubt in my mind. I completely agree with that sentiment. No way anyone can contest that. However, and let's just play devil's advocate. If Burrow beats Mahomes for a 4th consecutive time, does that gap get closer? Does it close? I think it has to.
It depends on the ankle. Like if Mahomes is knocked out in the first quarter or something,
he plays. Let's say in this situation, he plays the whole game. He doesn't miss anything.
Again, it kind of depends on the game because if they each score like 45 points, then I'm not really gonna sit there and be like, yeah.
But I guess like I don't know. Wins are not necessarily an attributable stat to a quarterback at this point, as we both know. However, you do something 3 times, you can chalk it up to like, okay, it's still maybe a coincidence. 4 times in a row on something is becoming a trend.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it after that game. I'm not ready to say that just because of I don't like the comment of like, oh, if they win or lose is because it kind of depends on how they play in the game. There's plenty of performances. When you look at the box score, like the last year, the divisional round, like Josh Allen lost to Mahomes, but there was at no point where I was like, oh, Mahomes is such a better player than Allen in this game. I mean, they went duel for duel over and over again and just happened who had the ball last.
Yeah. No, I get what
that's
you're
a Burrow Mahomes. I'm still going to put Mahomes there.
Well, I mean, I'm
think
still going to put Mahomes number 1, but I don't think I would put this, what you're making it seem like a crater size in between the two of them. I don't think I would go that far.
I just think right now Mahomes is week to week. Mahomes is by far the best player in the. He's so consistent. Yeah. He never has a bad week.
I'm not taking anything away from that. And that guy. If there's one person I will call an alien or I will call Superman, I will call Patrick Mahomes out. He has completely earned that. Especially anyone who watched that game against Jacksonville. That first drive was essentially quarterback like porn. I mean, the throws that he was making was like hopping on one foot, side arms, rolling to his left, going to his right. There's one guy in the league that does that, and that's
the arm slots are insane. Well, and so this is the other thing, and you might not agree with this, but the reason I put giant space is Burrow plays obviously with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. Mahomes, his wide receivers currently, and I feel like a lot of people are forgetting, are Juju Smith-Schuster, Martez Valdez-Scantling, and Mecole Hardman.
He still has Travis Kelce.
He does. No,
he has a really, really good offensive line.
He does. No, I agree. I mean, there are things, but
there are give and takes. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, Burrow has a plethora of weapons to work with. Probably, I think at this point, unquestionably the best in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think. I mean, to tell you the truth, as crazy as this might be, I don't think they'll reach the level. But if Jacksonville comes back with Evan Ingram, with Calvin Ridley, I mean, depending on what Calvin Ridley is, I mean,
Calvin Ridley, that offense next to the I think a lot of people forgot about that. I didn't forget about that, of course. But the Jaguars got Calvin Ridley. That is something that I think is going to be huge next year.
They're going to slide, I guess, probably Christian Kirk into the slot, and then they have Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley on the outside. And if they bring back Evan Ingram with Travis Etienne and
you have like
Trevor
Lawrence,
Lawrence
Jones being your 4th, who's one of the better contested ball catchers in the league.
He's a free agent. There's no.
I bet you they bring him back though for a year deal or something like that.
Maybe
he's probably not going to be that expensive.
Probably, you might be right. But yeah, I think you could be making the argument that Jacksonville is probably number 2. Raiders, get out of here. I don't want to hear that ever again.
I mean, Cincinnati will have one more year of T. Higgins. So,
well, no, he's getting traded to the Bears.
Clearly, everyone always said that. Oh my God, we'll offer you a second rounder. That should work, right?
Yeah. So let's go back. So we have 1, obviously Mahomes. 2 is Burrow. So we kind of came to a consensus. Clark didn't really understand what I was saying. That's okay. So my number 3 is Josh Allen. Then 4 is Herbert, and then 5 I have is Jalen Hurts. 6 is Trevor Lawrence, and 7 is Lamar Jackson as it currently sits. Yeah. And you seem to agree with that list for the most part.
First off, I to go back to your other, I do understand what you're saying. I just disagree that there's this large gap in between. I don't think that there is.
Maybe if Mahomes is or if Burrow has a really good game, then sure. It's just hard for me to get around because the kind of plays that Mahomes makes are just out of this world.
I know what you're saying, but I just disagree. Like you're saying there's a gap the size of the freaking, Grand Canyon. I'm saying there's one that's maybe more the size of, the San Diego Bay across. Maybe that's more what
I don't know. It's going to be hard for just because every time I watch Mahomes, there at least once a drive, there's some play where I'm like, man, no other quarterback in the league can make that throw.
I agree. I'm just saying. It's not as
Also, all these stupid analysts all this week that are trying to make the Burrow Mahomes thing. Just say Burrow's the best pocket passer in the league. Stop trying to make every weird argument that oh, Burrow's better because he stands. Just say he's a better pocket. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that.
I mean, I don't know. This is just it's the media, the national. I mean, everyone wants to create this narrative. Everyone wants Patrick to have this rival, and they tried to make it Josh Allen. And now that it's not Josh Allen, they're going to try to make it Burrow, and they want their Manning Brady equivalent, I guess. And they're just snatching anything they can. They're saying outlandish stuff that really doesn't make sense. It's just the way that it works. It's fine though.
Yeah.
But no, back to your original question of quarterback rankings. I'm typically on the same page as where you're at right now. I would say 1 and 2, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, 3, 4 for me. I'm closer to putting Herbert above Allen at this point than anything else. Then I would say 5, 6 is Jackson, Hurts. You kind of just roll them in there. Again, I feel like a lot of people forgot about Lamar Jackson. That's foolish. I think Lamar Jackson, really, for his sake, I hope he's on a different team next year. The Ravens don't deserve him. So I think he can do more. To be honest, as much as it would pain me, I would love to see him on the Jets. I think the Jets would be a great fit. But
I still like Detroit as an option.
Detroit's just not going to happen.
I know, but I really like it.
If Jared Goff had sucked, then you get an opportunity. But if you're the Lions, you can't sit there and move off of him.
I mean, the one that makes the most sense is Miami.
They're going to get Tom Brady. Don't worry.
I know. Tom's definitely going. No, seems like Tom's going to the stupid Raiders for some reason.
No.
I don't know why he would go there.
Tom will go to Miami. Everyone who thinks anyone who thinks Tom Brady's going out the way they just did, no, that's not going to happen. This man has literally thrown away his family and perhaps a relationship with his children for football. You think he's going to go out losing 35-10 to Dak Prescott? I think not. So
the thing about Brady is this is the first year where I've been like, man, he's
that looked cooked.
This is done. What is he even doing at this point? He looks physically not great. His arm is every once in a while you see him load up it kind of feels like what Phillip Rivers was with the Colts, but still Phillip Rivers was more accurate than Brady was. And the other thing about Tampa is I know the play calling was bad and there were a lot of issues, but he still has a lot of talent there.
Yeah, I mean, some older talent, but I agree. He just needs more avocado ice cream in him, and then he'll be good.
Yeah, he'll be good to go.
Avocado ice cream, some avocado vodka, TB12 diet, all the right. I mean, that's actually just blood doping is the TB12 diet.
Well, did you see that they opened a TB12 facility at the Wynn Casino in Las Vegas?
Why? What is possibly the need for that?
People think it's because he's going to Vegas.
People think he's going to Vegas? What are we doing, Adobe Flash Player? No, I don't want this.
Yeah, that's the big rumor that he's going to end up in Vegas with Josh McDaniels. And
if he ends up in Vegas, who does he end up dating first if he ends up in Vegas?
I don't know. That girl.
Is there betting odds for that right now? Who is most likely to date Tom Brady first after this divorce?
I don't know. There's definitely odds of where they think he's going to go.
No, I'm asking though the women that he's going to date first.
He's already dating some model.
Who's he dating?
I don't know. It's some model in Miami, I think.
I know Giselle's dating her Brazilian.
She's like 30.
Oh, Tom, sleazy bud, sleazy. I know Giselle's dating that Brazilian jiu-jitsu teacher, I believe. So,
I mean, that's
Queens,
cool.
stay up.
I'm gonna look it up. Let's look odds. Where is Tom Brady going? Let's see.
I'm gonna look up
So
odds.
DraftKings has it. Highest probability is the Buccaneers. Second is the Las Vegas Raiders. Third is the San Francisco 49ers. Fourth is the New England Patriots. Oh, tied for fourth is New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins.
He's rumored to be dating model Veronica Ronchek. She's 26. Come on, Tom. Have some self-respect there, bud.
What? He's just pulling a Leo DiCaprio. It's not that bad.
I thought Leo's rule is like if you're 22, then it's over.
I think it's 25.
Underrated weird thing. Underrated weird thing. Leonardo DiCaprio dumping every girl he's ever dated like before 25 years old.
I mean,
you think it's actually on purpose? That's totally off topic. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, anyway,
we already have fans of the show can look forward to it. We're gonna do a nice pop culture show once the season's over.
Oh yeah, great. I mean, first episode of The Bachelor last night too. That was something else. That was ridiculous.
We can get to it later, but let's move over to the NFC.
Yeah, NFC. So let's start with let's do Dallas and San Francisco first.
I want to talk. Yeah, let's talk about Dak.
Yeah, so first off, I want to say congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys for running probably the worst last play I've ever seen in my entire life. Ezekiel Elliott did not deserve to be playing center and just get massacred by Drake Greenlaw. I don't know who thought that was funny, but that's not okay. I don't know what plan was ever supposed to be there. I don't know who he was going to pitch it to, but when I watched the last play of the game, I either want it to be a really cool Hail Mary or just some ridiculous lateral play. Instead, we got Ezekiel Elliott being bull rushed and then a tackle. That was it. It was kind of sad.
I'm not going to lie.
And then go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, well, the end of that game was just so lazy from both sides. I mean, so we had Elijah Mitchell run out of bounds for some reason.
Yeah, that was not smart.
So to give Dallas the ball back. And then we get to the Dallas drive. We have Dak Prescott roll out in the end zone. We have Armstead kind of run over, hit him. He's scared about a roughing the passer. Dak doesn't throw the ball. He just spins off and throws it away. Next play, we get a little Dalton Schultz out route where he runs backwards and the clock keeps rolling.
Yep.
Next play, they do another out route to Dalton Schultz. Doesn't get his second foot in. Just doesn't care about making the catch. And then we get to that little Zeke thing.
No, Dallas, I mean, I think that was a great way, that final sequence, a great way just to encapsulate the Cowboys season. Just, looked really good to start the game and then just kind of ended up being a disaster by the end.
Just a disaster class.
Yeah. So, I mean, for Dallas, I don't know. I think Dallas now is a conundrum of sorts because I don't know if you can sit there and say that Dak is the guy that can get you to a Super Bowl. However, I don't know if he's a guy you can move off of because I still think he is pretty darn good. But I'm questioning whether or not he can actually win you a Super Bowl.
Well, the thing about him is he's so inconsistent because every once in a while he makes good plays where you think he's a good player. And then he randomly throws a curl right to the defender, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dak needs to maybe, instead of trying to really fit it into those tight windows, just let those windows close sometimes, man. There's just no need to throw some of those balls. He should have been picked off at least 3 or 4 times, actually, in that game against San Francisco.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You think Jerry Jones fires the staff and brings in Sean Payton?
I don't know, maybe, but whoever he has controlling the social media account was pretty brutal. I mean, just blaming Dak essentially. That was actually crazy. I mean, there are a lot of teams, after a loss, a social media team might put out something just like the final score. The Cowboys, for those who missed it, basically released this tweet saying, well, if Dak Prescott didn't suck ass, we would have won. And just posted that thinking, no one's going to see this as odd. So I don't know. mean, Jerry Jones, maybe he'll do that. Jerry Jones would just be one of the worst owners I feel like to play for. I swear to God, him coming down to the field to talk to Brett Maher before the game.
Oh,
the
yeah.
kicker. If I was Brett Maher, that probably would have been the worst possible thing that you could. The owners coming down to talk to me, I'm the fucking kicker. That means
He's also the general manager.
Yeah, so it's basically, the guy that cuts my check and has decided to sign me is basically coming down here to say, hey, you miss any more extra points? Off the roster, buddy. See ya. I mean,
it also the Brett Maher thing is really tough. I mean, I know you didn't want him to miss points, and I get that it was an issue, but
it was funny.
He was kind of money all year. I mean, I get that he had a really bad game, but I don't think it helped that they signed another kicker in the middle of the season. I mean, I understand why they did it, but I don't think it helped his confidence. I don't think it helped when Jerry Jones walked onto the field and was like, "Hey, buddy, let me tell you something."
You think he was drunk?
I don't know.
I hope he was. That'd be hilarious.
Oh my God! Wait, speaking of that, how did Jed York get down from the press box so fast?
Oh, you mean John Lynch?
John Lynch. Sorry, I'm thinking of their old owner.
Former safety.
It was like they showed him when the 49ers just were punting the ball. And it was like when Dallas had the ball, he was already on the field, shaking people's hands. It was insane.
Just flew to actually, you know how the mascot in Jacksonville comes down on the road?
Yeah.
They actually have one of those for John Lynch to come down and shake hands. He just attaches himself to a cable and just zip lines in.
So you think the Eagles are going to beat the 49ers?
No.
Wow.
Actually, hold on. Let me be an unbiased journalist. Someone on this podcast has to do that.
What do you mean? I'm always unbiased.
You are the worst. But for me, I'll say yes. I would say the Eagles probably will win this game the way that I'm looking at it right now. As much as I would like Brock Purdy to go in there and shock the world, which, by the way, if Brock Purdy wins this game, you are not only going to hear more about him. I guess if he wins the Super Bowl more, I should say. If he wins the Super Bowl, he will be getting a movie at some point. You'll see a movie about the guy. He'll probably get a couple books written about him. He'll have a starting job in the NFL with the 49ers. If he doesn't win this game, he's probably battling for a starting job next season. So there's probably not more on the line for anyone in the NFL more than Brock Purdy this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
So that being said, I still think the Eagles win this game. The Eagles just look like a juggernaut at this point. There's been kind of some times that they look questionable. I know the rush defense is great, and the Eagles have a very good rushing attack. The 49ers have a very good rushing attack. But I think the Eagles secondary is going to make, Purdy's going to have to throw that ball at some point or another. He didn't look great last week. I love Brock, but man, I would say Eagles. Eagles in a close one. It's not going to get out of hand. It's going to be close. But they're in Philly. I'll give it to that degenerate city. Take it home.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to take it. Their offense is such a well-oiled machine.
It'd be great. Oh, it'd be cinematic, though, if Brock Purdy won that.
I mean, again, it's kind of fun because these are both of my prediction teams. I was kind of right on the money. I said, I think the Eagles are sneaky Super Bowl contenders, which now they're in the NFC Championship game. And I picked the 49ers to win the Super Bowl before the season. I mean, I was way off, and I was way off in the AFC.
Yeah, we said the Chargers now.
Yeah, I said the Chargers.
And yet again, you sit here and say you're an unbiased journalist, okay?
Hey, I am unbiased. I'm unbiased in the NFC. Really good prediction there. I also picked the Giants to be a playoff team. They might as well, before the season, everyone give me my roses. In the AFC, I wasn't as good.
No.
AFC, it's because, I'm kind of.
Because you couldn't remove the bias there, pal.
Hey, awesome. I mean, we both picked the Chargers to win the AFC West, and that didn't.
We did.
It's okay.
It's okay. Packers won the NFC.
You picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl before the season.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I didn't know Joe Burrow was going to go Super Saiyan in that game, so my bad.
Hey, at least I picked the Bengals to win the AFC North. There were a lot of people who saying they weren't going to.
I know you did. I did too. Man, people made that a conversation. I mean, it probably would have been as healthy all season.
And I remember when we were on Drew Code, we were talking about basically could the Bengals go back to the Super Bowl, and I remember saying I said I think they could. It's just going to be a really rough road if they have to go through Buffalo and through Kansas City, which is where I said they probably couldn't. And that's what's happening. I mean, if they do it, they beat my thing, but it's still a really tough task to win in both of those places.
It's still going to be, but I think it's going to happen. So
I'm not sure. I mean, this is I think the closest matchup of the entire playoff so far.
probably
Just
to be close.
Just because I think the Chiefs' strengths play to the Bengals' weaknesses, and the Bengals' strengths play to the Chiefs' weaknesses. So it feels like a blow for. I think it all just depends on how healthy Mahomes is. If Mahomes is full mobile, then it's going to be a lot different game than if.
I mean, he'll only be full mobile basically if he's injected with ketamine, because that's the only way. Now, which by the way, it's not. I'm joking. Obviously, they wouldn't do that, but they are going to shoot up that ankle with so much crap. You probably won't even be able to feel it.
I mean, the fact that he was able to go in the second half. I mean, just the chemicals that.
And people always say like, "Oh wow, it's the real grit of a champion." No, it's actually a Toradol shot. I'm pretty sure that's what's doing it. It's the fact that he cannot feel one of his appendages.
Yeah.
So, but if you're willing to do it, good for you, Patrick. Battle out there, buddy. I think the Chiefs are a little bit more likable this year, actually, because Patrick's family is not his mom and dad, but his brother has been out of the spotlight.
I also feel like that Kelsey podcast has kind of made them a little bit more likable.
I still don't like Travis Kelce very much.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but I do like his podcast.
I like Jason.
I like the clips.
Yeah, the clips are good, but I just maybe it's just me. I just get the feeling like Travis Kelce's just like the frat guy that plays football now, and then if he wasn't, he.
Yeah, but I liked when he called out PFF. I thought that was fun.
No, that was great because he's probably right. Guys definitely do pay for their like, someone made a great joke like, Matt Milano. It was the gif of The Rock just like holding his hand up. And someone saying Matt Milano's PFF score stopping Joe Mixon, so which is again for someone as stupid as me, that was pretty niche funny. But I don't know. I did appreciate that, but I just feel like Travis, I like him. He's a great player, but I kind of get the vibe. I don't know. He'd annoy me pretty quick, I think.
So you're picking Cincinnati to beat Kansas City?
I will pick Cincinnati to beat Kansas City. I know that's very contradictory to what I just said at the beginning of the playoffs. However, man, I just feel like Cincinnati's playing really, really well right now. And I think Lou Anarumo has been the one guy that's been able to slow down Patrick. I think the ankle is going to play a big factor in this game. Not taking anything away from Kansas City. I think it's going to be really close. I'm guessing a one-possession game yet again. I just think Cincinnati has done this a lot now. They have won on the road a lot in the playoffs. They have a lot of confidence. Eli Apple, you could stop talking a little bit there, buddy. I really don't need you running your mouth too much because some of the stuff you're saying is pretty rude. While funny, all-time troll, I'll give you that, but less talking would be nice. But I think the Bengals are comfortable in this spot. I don't think this is something that intimidates them at this point.
Yeah. So as much
it's
as
fine.
I
You can
want
pick
the
against
Bengals
them.
to
I will
win-
take it personally.
Well, no, as much as I want the Bengals to win, there's something about beating a team a fourth time. Like that's a really tough task to do.
Yeah, but didn't everyone say that the third time though? Oh,
I know,
the third time.
I know, but again, every time that it happens, it gets harder and harder.
I tend to agree, but
so I know they said it the third time. They said it the second time. You say it every time with your division.
You say it
teams. It's
every
hard to beat your
time.
division.
I
But
don't
again,
know.
it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat a team like Kansas City twice in a season, especially when you played at home the first time. Now you're going on the road to their home. It's tough. Again, if Mahomes isn't fully healthy, then I feel confident the Bengals are going to win.
I don't think
there
he
is
is fully healthy though. That's the thing.
There's something about, and again, I hate the Chiefs. I hate them with my every gut in my body. I hate watching them win. But there's just something about Patrick Mahomes this season of where it's not like your crazy no-look passes. It's just stuff of his arm slot is insane. I swear at some point he's going to throw like an underhanded pitch like 40 yards down the field some point this season.
So
the way that his...
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. He's just him. He's just him.
It just makes no sense.
He's Himothy. He's Hemi Neutron. That's just him. That's just the guy.
It's just him.
And I know what you're saying. It's really tough. Really, really tough to beat a team 4 times in a row. Very
really tough. And
nay, almost impossible.
I mean, if the Bengals do it, all the credit to them. All the credit to them.
If
But
the Bengals do, can we? Is it fair to say going into next season they're the favorites in the AFC, or do you think they'll still not be?
I mean, it would be tough not to pick them, but it's always hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I've tried to pick up a pick against him for so many years now. I've tried to say he's gonna regress, he's gonna be bad. Like this year's team, on paper, this year's team should have been really bad. I don't know how they ended up being the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes ended up being an MVP. I mean, I hate saying this, but Veach is the best GM in the league. I swear. He's like crazy.
Best GM? What about Howie Roseman?
Maybe.
John Lynch? They've
Yeah,
assembled
I
really
just
good
think
teams
it's Veach.
too.
Look at his rookie class this year.
I agree. Okay, well, I mean, I agree, but then we can look at. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
No. You could say I would say, well, the Bengals would be in consideration, but they don't have a GM, so there's that. I don't know.
Yeah. You want to do our draft?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, okay. What is happening here? Sorry, Clark. Are you seeing this private chat?
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Okay. I
How
don't
do they even have the
this
link
person
to
is,
this?
but this is kind of weird. Yeah, this person is private. They're also named Ethan, I suppose. That's good. All right. Whatever. Just ignore it. I don't know what to say to that.
It's okay. I can just ban from the studio. Or I'll just kick him from the studio.
I don't think he's not doing anything hard.
No, please, no. I guess we can leave him. So what we're gonna do is moving into the offseason, there's already all this quarterback controversy. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna draft the best available quarterbacks for next season. So we're gonna include rookie players, or will be rookies, but we're not thinking about future planning. It's just for next season. That's all we're thinking. Okay.
Want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, easy pick. I think he's going to be gone this year. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP, the guy I like the most. I know there's rookie quarterbacks you could be very much enticed by. However, I still think Lamar, people often forget, again, MVP, great player, limited weapons too in this MVP run. I would definitely take Lamar over all these guys that we have, kind of brought up on this list. He's got to be the dude.
So my number 1 pick, I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I think going into next season, if you could add a quarterback, I think Aaron Rodgers is
anti-vax.
I mean, yes, but I think he's the one who could get you over the hump. Like if he ends up going to the New York Jets, I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, the trade packages that are being thrown out for him are ridiculous. If I was the Jets, I would not trade 2 first-round picks for him.
No.
For me, that's insane. I mean, you're basically mortgaging your future for like, what, 1 or 2 more years of Rodgers? I mean, realistically, how much more does he even have left in the tank?
I mean, it's a very good question.
But for next season, I would take Aaron Rodgers with the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, what does it say about Ethan that he's taking an anti-vaxxer first overall? And a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. That says a lot about your character. So
yeah, but he's so cool. He goes on Pat McAfee once a week.
Yeah, he goes on Pat McAfee and talks about his team's the reason that he sucks. God, going through next to the list that we got, I guess my second overall, I'll go a little bit of a shocker here. I will go ahead and I will say, give me a rook.
Which one are you going with?
CJ Stroud.
Oh, wow.
I think I'd go with CJ Stroud. I have a little bit of a concern. I love Bryce Young. I think the height is just a little bit concerning to me at this point. I think that's going to get a little bit brought up in things. I don't know. Maybe it's just me short shaming, but I would prefer CJ Stroud. I think he showed me a lot in that game against Georgia. He cooked up a storm against those guys. Granted, he had probably one of the better college football wide receiver rooms. I'm still going to say CJ Stroud. He'd be the guy that I would want. I feel like he's a guy you can kind of plug in there and he'll really winning games. He's electric, not as much in terms of running the football or anything, but just moving around the pocket. Looked good off script against Georgia. I think he's going to have a really good combine, really good testing circuit. I think he's a guy that you could actually have a question of being the number 1 overall pick by the time April rolls around.
So with my second pick, I'm going to take Geno Smith. I think the way Geno played last year, I think he's one of the best. What do you mean coward?
That's just what I'm saying, man. It's you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to take Geno. Geno's been playing really well. I think you could plug and play him into a team right now, and he'll help you succeed. Put some more weapons around him, and then you'd be good to go.
All right. Well, that was a terrible pick. What's new?
Oh, my God.
I'm going to go ahead. My third pick, I'm going to go with a guy who I hope is not anti-vax and a 9/11 conspiracy theorist like his teammate, Jordan Love. I really liked what Jordan Love showed last year and some limited opportunities. I still think he has a ton of raw, untapped potential. Great arm, mobile. If he just knows the offense well enough, I have a lot of faith in Jordan Love. That's who I'm going third overall.
Okay. I like Jordan Love. I'm going to go.
You?
What?
Didn't sound very convincing.
Okay. Well,
are you anti-Jordan Love?
I mean, he's fine. I'm not.
Oh my God. The truth comes out. He's just fine. Interesting.
He's fine. I'm going to take Bryce Young with my third pick.
All right.
Take probably the first overall pick in this draft. Bryce Young, the biggest concern is, of course, his weight. His size profile is a little concerning. He'd be the only quarterback taken in the first round that weighs under 190 pounds. So that would be kind of fun. But, I mean, the arm strength is all there. The mobility is there. He's flashed the ability to be a big play kind of player. I think if you're going into next season, you got to be excited about him as a prospect.
I would agree. I think you do too. He may weigh only a little bit more than Timothy Chalamet, but
that is true. Where are you going?
Actually, I don't know how much Timothy Chalamet weighs. He looks like he weighs about 120 pounds. Timothy Chalamet, if you're listening right now, eat a cheeseburger, okay? We need a little bit.
He's too busy in Dune.
Okay, random thing. Apple is trying to make Timothy Chalamet that guy, and I think Timothy Chalamet as an actor is that guy. However, he does need a little bit more protein in the diet, it looks like. This guy is, I mean, that is a twig. A handsome twig, I'll give him that, but a twig.
Interesting.
Just saying. Like in Dune, like him beating that one guy in that scene in Dune, one of their, like, Dune's a long movie, you gotta wait till the end. He beats this guy in a knife fight in Dune. Doesn't match up. If they were in the trenches, wouldn't go well.
Okay. Well, so where are you going number 4? You're going on a diatribe about Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. I got distracted there with Timothy Chalamet. However, 4, I'll go with the guy who can probably cry just as well on command as Timothy Chalamet and Derek Carr. Give me Derek Carr. That is a guy who, whether you like it or not, what are you saying timeout for?
That's that meme that people always put on Twitter of at the end of that Chargers Week 18 game where it's him doing the timeout.
Oh,
Have you not seen this?
I've never seen that.
Oh, really?
No, not on Chargers Twitter.
Chargers Twitter sucks.
Well, anyway, Derek Carr, the guy that looks like he has permanent eyeliner on. We'll go ahead and take him. I think Carr is a guy you can win with. I think he just needs a better situation. He's not around crackpot Mike McDaniel anymore and known racist and super awful human being John Gruden. So put him in a different situation. As long as it's not like Indy, where like Jeff Saturday's his coach, he could work out okay.
Yeah,
that's my 4th.
That works out. It seems like he's going to go to Indy. I can't believe
that would be a shame for him. But
I'm going to take better than Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones here with the 4th pick.
People are speaking, so
I mean, Danny Dimes is ready to come in. Hey, Daniel. To be honest, Daniel Jones did look good for some of the stretches of the season. Then other times he looked really bad.
Yeah, the last time we saw him, he looked like absolute dog shit.
So I guess you can be happy about some things, but I guess I'm happy about him.
All right, so you're going to take Daniel Jones?
Yeah, I'm going to take Daniel Jones.
Who do we have left here that I could take? I'm not going to take another rookie. I'm not going to take Tua. Actually, fine. I'll take Will Levis of these guys that we have left.
Okay.
I mean, he's a guy for some reason. Again, this has no reasoning behind it whatsoever. Everyone is soaring this guy off the draft boards already. I don't see it. I mean, I guess I kind of do. He played at Kentucky. He's got a big arm. People are trying to say he's like the Justin Herbert of this year's draft. I'll believe that shit when I see it. But yeah, I'll take him with my 5th pick. So Will Levis, congratulations, bud. I mean, again, if my options at this point are Tua, who I don't believe in, and then Jimmy Garoppolo, who like I think is my thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo are well documented. I think he's pretty bad.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So Will Levis, come on down. You can hang out with Timothy Chalamet, I bet. Maybe they'd be friends.
I guess I'll take Tua here. I don't know. I don't know if I want Jimmy G or Tua. It doesn't really matter. They're both bad.
But turn the ball.
Yeah. You know what? I'll take Trey Lance. They're gonna have to get rid of Trey
I didn't know
Lance.
Trey
I'll
Lance
take
was
Trey
an
Lance.
option. Really?
I'm
If I would
taking
know,
Trey Lance.
okay. I did not know, people of America. I did not know that Trey Lance was an option going into this. Ethan just randomly selected this. That's not fair. I would have taken Trey Lance.
No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
not on the
I'll take
list.
Jimmy
We didn't
G.
put that on the list.
I'm just
And you
kidding.
just-
I'll take Jimmy G.
No, you can take him. That's fine. But I just want you to admit that you compromised this list that we created 5 minutes before the show. I want you to say it. Admit what you did.
Fine. I took Trey Lance. I compromised the list. I didn't add him
Yeah,
on
we worked
when we were creating.
Kind of hard on that. We
We just thought of. Yeah,
it wasn't even an even number. I think we have 7 people on that list. I don't even think we have 7 or 9. We did not pick a square 8 even number that we could go ahead and do. But now you've added Trey Lance to the mix. Nice. Real classy move there.
Hey, I thought of outside the box. You know what? Fine. I'll take Kellen Mond from the Vikings.
No, you get to have Trey Lance. You get Trey Lance.
All right, fine. I'll take Trey Lance. I'll take Brock Purdy, actually.
No, Brock.
I'm going off that Purdy 30.
No, because Brock is going to win the Super Bowl, so he's going to be the starter next year.
Wow, how are you going to feel when Brock beats Joe Burrow on the Super Bowl?
I'll need to put down like a horse. Like a
Oh,
horse
yeah.
breaks his leg. Okay, this is what I thought. This is immediately what I thought when I saw Patrick Mahomes like snap his ankle in that game.
Yeah.
If that was me, and this is being very honest right now, if that was me and a man of 300 plus pounds landed on my ankle like that, I would request to be put down like a racehorse. I would say, bring the shotgun and just shoot me on the field because I am not getting up. That would be so excruciatingly painful. I'd be like, they'd be like, dude, you're fine. You can get up. I would just say, no, gun, blast me in the face. This is over. I will not be moving.
I mean, the one on Tony Pollard also looked really bad. I think they actually broke his leg.
Same thing. Like femur's broken. Okay. Or you could just kill me. That's the other
I
option.
mean, also for all those fans that are claiming those are dirty hits, they're not dirty hits. They're just unfortunate.
Yeah, they are unfortunate. It's
just like when an offensive lineman gets like rolled up on.
Yeah.
It's not dirty. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, but that was one of my initial reactions is when Patrick Mahomes, I just sat
Put
there
me
and said,
down
okay,
like a horse.
That was me. Put me down like a horse. Just euthanize me because I would not be cooperative after that.
Well, they can put you down like a horse, I guess.
They could.
That's the goal.
No, is it the goal?
No. You got anything else before we go?
Gosh, you catch the real question? Did you catch the episode of The Bachelor last night?
No, I don't watch The Bachelor.
Why don't you watch The Bachelor?
Kelly
doesn't
call
make
Kelly
you watch
in
The
here.
Bachelor.
Do you-
I watch.
Do you want me to call Kelly in to see if she's watched The Bachelor?
No, okay, but here's what I was thinking about The Bachelor because last night one of the clips that I seen, this is a little bit of a glimpse into my mind. So last night, like, there's a GIF that was going around of the guy Zach and one of these women, like, they hit the gritty together on
What?
Yeah.
Kelly's been hitting the gritty recently.
Okay, well, tell Kelly to stop because there's just no need for that. But he did that, and I was thinking, okay, that's really embarrassing. If the other woman in the house saw that, they might put their foot down. But it got me thinking, like, what's something so outlandish on night one that The Bachelor could do that would women stick around for? Like, what if night one, Zach just, I don't know why he would tell people this, but like just shit his pants.
What?
Like, say he just like crapped himself. How many women do you think would self-eliminate? Night one. They all found out. Like, everyone's like, Zach, like the Bachelor just crapped his pants.
I mean,
how many women do you think would be like, all right, that's it. Hand up. I got to get out of here. I cannot be with this guy.
yeah, I have no idea.
If you had to guess, it's like a 40-woman cast to start. How many women do you think stick around for the guy that just crapped his pants? Like, this is a little bit, like, not just a little bit, but like a lot.
I don't know, maybe 5.
5. Only 5. That if only
because
5.
they're on it for the social media following. So I don't think there's that much that would push them off. They want the free advertising.
5, dude. This guy just like any other 5 women would only self-eliminate.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think?
I would hope at least 3/4 of the cast would say, you know what, that's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, I think they would think it's ridiculous. I don't think they'd leave though.
You wouldn't. So put yourself in their shoes. You're on this one-on-one date with a guy. He just outwardly craps himself.
Well, but he's not going to do that to all 40 people.
No, but I'm saying, okay, fine. It's the group date section of the night. That's before the rose ceremony. Do you? And he's like, "Will you take this rose?" And then just absolutely, would you stay? And you're the one standing up there, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, he just did that. Do you stay?"
Then
then he gaslights you and says, "I didn't do that," and you know he did.
So Kelly's saying, I just texted her the scenario. She said it depends on how close you are when it happens, like distance-wise.
We'll tell her it was a rose.
Kelly, you're being offered a rose. I mean, I don't know. I still think not that many would do this. Yes. That's what Clark is talking about right now.
That's what I'm asking. If that happened.
Like, were you with him when he shit his pants?
No, I think it's at the rose ceremony. I think he's saying like while he's handing out the rose, night one rose ceremony.
Kelly, get on it. That's what I'm asking. So like rose ceremony.
Himself?
What?
And he poops himself?
Like really bad.
Like stains?
Yes.
Like poop stained pants, and you have to walk up and get a rose from him.
Yeah, but then if it's like I just threw into the scenario, he's gaslighting you. He's saying, "No, I didn't do that. That didn't happen."
It's just on camera. I feel like you're just dumb at that point. I don't think
but
that
he's still sticking by that story that he's like, that never happened.
Why are we still live for this?
I'm just asking. This is the end of this. I'm just curious for this. If this,
the people need to know.
Yeah, this is a real question. I am actually I was thinking about this hard last night. Like, if this happened, like disaster scenario.
Oh, I would assume if this is night one, so it means a lot of these girls like don't have an emotional attachment to this guy, like they would leave.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. I would hope 3/4
like they would leave. Like the emotional attachment isn't there yet to be like, I will stick with you through clean pants and through poop pants. Like that bond hasn't.
How many do you think stay?
I don't think well, some people will stay. I think this is what you're saying. I think some people stay for the Instagram followers, but I would say like a solid. There's usually like 30 on the first night. I would say if people are being honest with themselves, a third would leave.
I said 2/3. I would hope 2/3 would leave. A little self-respect there, ladies.
No, I think social media takes over poop pants, but I think a third of them would be like, no, not worth it.
Tough sell.
Because then you'd be like the poop couple from like coming out of this Bachelor.
That could be big on Cameo. That could be big on Cameo after the show.
Guess it would, but like, do you really want to be known? Because like certain Bachelor couples are known for certain things. Like, do you really want to be known of like, oh, you still went with this guy after he shit himself on live TV?
That would be great.
Well, this reminds me of, have you seen the Nathan Fielder episode where they make fun of The Bachelor?
No, but we can end the show because I can tell you're getting embarrassed.
No, it's the hunk. So what it is he basically figures out that he can use his show to date 12 women at once to get like over his fear of dating women, but the host is too hot. And so he makes the host like not even like has him introduced and then makes him leave because he's embarrassed about how hot the host is.
Nice. It's like Jesse Palmer pulling up.
Oh yeah, not a fan of Jesse Palmer as a
really.
Host.
Who should be the new Bachelor host then? If we're not gonna have Jesse Palmer,
me.
You really? Wow, that would be something.
Mm-hmm. From the Backseat sponsors The Bachelor.
That would be a disaster. Actually, that'd probably be their most successful season.
I agree.
What a show, folks! What a show!
What a show! And we'll get into it once maybe we'll do that during Pro Bowl week. Maybe that's
Pro Bowl week will be Bachelor recap episode.
It'll be From the Backseat, the Toast edition.
The Toasted.
That's the podcast Kelly really likes. It's called The Toast.
What is the Toast?
It's so... Clark, you have no idea.
Basically, what you just talked about is their entire show. That's all they do.
They do
Hell
They're
yes.
revolutionary.
Send me
Give
that
them
link.
More credit.
All right. We
All
ready?
right.
Good here?
Yeah. Well, so this has been From the Backseat. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to join our Discord, if you want to join our Discord off-season simulation, make sure to go check out our TikTok. I put the Discord link there if you want to be a part of it. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. This has been From the Backseat. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Have a
from
great rest of your night.
Bachelor content. Keep following along, folks.